Well, hello. Just been listening to Forever How Long by Black Country New Road. Really great album. Especially this one, Two Horses. Anyway, I digress. Heading out to New Lake for me. Well, it's not that new. I have been there once before, but went at the wrong time. Too much moonlight. Couldn't do much with it. So I'm heading back to see if I can do a bit more with it. It's large. It's not as immediately striking as some of the others, but there's a lot of it, and there's a lot of trees. So it'll be something a little bit different. I was sort of, getting a bit lazy and heading back to the same place all the time. So it's just spreading a little bit further afield now. Because it's a little bit more out of the way than most of the other places, I'm taking a spare tyre with me this time, just in case, because it's sort of fairly off-roady to get to where I'm going to camp, which is the area I'm going to be shooting in. So we'll talk more about it when I get there. Yes, it's a bit of a convoluted place to get into, this one. Not entirely straightforward. I think we'll take the chicken track. Don't want to go through those ruts necessarily. I could straddle them, but hey, let's just go the easy way. Sand. Doesn't look like anyone's been out here for quite some time. It is pretty out of the way. Now I've just got to remember how to find my way down to the lake itself, because sometimes the track actually disappears. At least it has on the couple of times I've been here to check it out. Here we go. We are good. This place gets very, very sticky when it's wet. When I say sticky, I mean slippy sticky. Not very pleasant at all. So we've had a good long dry spell. And there we have it, looking a little bit like, I don't know, I imagine the Somme or something. The World War II. So she's bleak, but interesting. We'll see what the night brings. And from memory, here is my spot. Nice and flat at least. of all the near salt lakes that I frequent. This one is the most desert-like, and in certain directions it just looks like an absolute wasteland. It's so stark. The others, they might have the actual layers of salt, and that whiteness, that sort of clean white, gives it a completely different feel to this, whereas this is just basically silt that just turns to slick mud when it's wet. But yeah, it's got its own thing. Probably not as superficially as interesting as the other ones. Haven't really got much interesting texture in the ground, but you've just got so many dense areas of tree or some isolated trees. So we can work with what we've got. I might head way over there in a bit. I don't know whether it's worth driving or walking. Ground feels firm anyway. We'll see. Now, that's inconvenient. Hope you can hear me with the wind. This area across the other side of the lake, as you can see, I'm way over there. This is the best spot for photographs. In fact, it's amazing. So I'm going to drive across the lake. It's nice and firm. So let's give it a go. One good thing about a lake like this, it's a little bit more complicated to get to and a bit more out of the way, if not in distance, just sort of away from everything, is the absence, or very little that I've seen so far, of broken glass, which is always annoys the hell out of me, because quite often I'm in bare feet when I'm walking through the mud, and yeah, I've got to scout in the daytime to make sure there's no traps. And same if I'm going to drive across this lake, so just scouting the lake bed, looking out for wooden stakes and things like that, and should be able to make a beeline. Just keep the camera pointed at me. And what's this, a rock? Strange thing. Okay. Now, I'm going to be taking this nice and easy. Number of reasons. One, I don't like damaging landscapes and areas, even ones that self-regenerate like a lake bed, because it just spoils it and there's no need. Secondly, I don't want to, let's see, oh, chimes. Secondly, I don't want to flick salty sand all up over my vehicle. And thirdly, I'm keeping my eye out for stakes, because the surface itself is benign, but you hit one of these nasty little hardened tree roots and you've got trouble. And good luck getting a normal kind of roadside service out here. One of the reasons I'm moving to this other spot, not just because of the number of trees, but also because the ground is a lot paler. It doesn't have any vegetation, so it's a lot more contrasty when you're shooting the Milky Way and you've got a really bright sort of featureless ground. It doesn't detract from it. You just want the stark features of the trees. The other thing is the trees over this side, as you'll see later on, they have a gradation of colour where they're very pale down the bottom, where the salty water has kind of bleached the wood. So they've got they're a lot more striking, especially at night. Anyway, fingers crossed. It's been pretty uneventful so far, but we are taking it very slow because you can't always see these little mini tree stumps until you're right on top of them, which is just what you don't want to do. Okay, I've left very modest tyre tracks. So I'm going to cut in over here and probably pull up where I can orient anyway, because it's perfectly flat and there's no shade to speak of. So I guess I will point the windscreen towards the sunrise, and that should spare me and let me sleep in a little bit. I've left some modest tyre marks, so I've got a track back that I can follow my way back tomorrow to the exit. But just going over to these trees again, and sorry about the wind, you can see what I mean with the cleaner ground and the gradations in the trees. We've got a lot to choose from here. Oh, and we seem to have some whopping great emu tracks. I don't know if you can see those clearly. Here's your biggie. Now this is why I don't bother with an awning so much anymore, because I'm normally arriving at these locations late in the day. I've got plenty of shade from the car, and yeah, I can sit in that. Fortunately, the ground here is firm enough that I can walk through without leaving any marks, so it makes scouting a little bit easier, which is a nice change. I don't have to sneak up on things the way I normally do and inch forwards for each new shot. No, I think we can work with this. The old George Foreman is a little bit aggressive, so might turn that off for a bit. Otherwise, quite effective. There is sugar in that marinade, so that's why it's getting a bit crispy, but need to cook the inside. Oh, it's nice. Lemongrass, spring onion, garlic, galangal, fish sauce, and chili. Beautiful. And it's 1 in the morning. Is what it is. I don't know. I don't know what to say. How cool a place is this? I mean, it's great. It's like walking in an alien's landscape or an old Star Trek set. But it's real, and it's here. And loving it. What a place to be. beautiful place this is. These unassuming places, these desolate salt lakes. Well, this one is not covered in salt, but obviously it's rising salinity that's caused all the trees to die, which is, yeah, it's a terrible symptom of, yeah, poor land management and climate. But they also create these beautiful spaces. And this one, I hadn't come out to this part of this lake, and it's like these kind of salt lakes with the trees, they're like my Stonehenge. They're just perfect still monuments to what once was. And it's sad that they're gone, but they're still here. And they make this great salute to the sky, to the universe, to the Milky Way. And this one in particular is something so benign about it at this time of the year, obviously, because the ground, it's a soft silt, but it's covered in the remains of a moss or an algae that obviously once covered the bottom when it had water in it. And it's almost like carpet. It's just such a pleasant place to be. And of course, it's the perfect place because you've got these clear horizons and uninterrupted sky. It's what is going to keep bringing me back to these places. Even though I'm not photographing, this is just a lovely place to be. I mean, it was a stinking hot day, but now the breezes come in and it's just beautiful. It doesn't get better. And there's no one here. No one. And that's the beauty of it. You alone with the universe and nature. And yes, we've got living nature over there. Obviously, deceased nature here. But it still is beautiful. It's raw, it's unforgiving, but it's incredibly beautiful. I just love these spaces. I love these places. And they're a great place to collect yourself and feel small, which I think is a good thing, because it makes your problems small as well. So it makes those problems easier to deal with when you get back to civilization.